Welcome back to She Will Empower. I'm Jessica Cherry, strategic intervention and empowerment coach, NLP practitioner, award-winning writer, community director, soundbath girly, and your Tuesday morning wake-up club host on 94.3 KWVH Wimberley Valley Radio, bringing real talk, real tools, and real empowerment to the airwaves. And today, we're going deep, my friends. If you've been feeling tension in your relationships, whether it's at home, at work, around the dinner table, or especially during the holidays, this episode is your guidebook to having a saner, smarter, and more successful conversation, even when you disagree with people. And I wanted to talk about this today because, of course, it's the holiday season, and so many people are coming into your home or around the table or around the Christmas tree. And all we want to do is to create the loveliest, best memories possible, right? I know I do. Because if you've ever been sitting with someone that you love or that you care about a lot, or even a friend, and suddenly the tone shifts after something was said, I want you to notice when the air thickens and you find yourself thinking, oh boy, what did I do? Or what do I say? Or what do I don't say? Do I keep the peace or do I speak my truth? Or do I stay quiet or do I brace for an argument? You are not alone. It's the holiday season, so everyone around the world is feeling the exact same thing right now. I mean, it's just natural. It's just what we do, right? I mean, we can't agree with everyone on everything all the time, 24/7. It's just impossible. It's crazy. For example, I've been married for 15 years, and I can say my husband and I disagree on plenty of things. And if we really want to nitpick it at each other, we can. And I want to think about this as talking through the Griswolds, the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. It's a great movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. And it's an oldie but goodie. It came out in 1989, and that family dynamic, this is what I'm talking about here. Anyway, today we're going to talk about how to bridge it without blowing up, without shutting down, and without bottling up until you collapse or explode. So let's dive in. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're at the dinner table, or you're in the car, or you're on the phone with someone, and then it happens. Someone makes a comment, or their tone changes, or they toss out one of those little zinger phrases that just sets you off. And suddenly, you're not having a conversation, you're having a standoff. And one sigh turns into a lecture. One look turns into a debate. And before you even realize it, you're either fighting, freezing, or faking that you're fine. Have you been there? Because I have. And it's a moment that happens. It's like a shift, right? But here's the thing. Most of the time, the argument isn't actually even about the topic. It's about the experience. You're feeling unheard. They're feeling misunderstood, or vice versa. Someone feels judged, right? Someone feels dismissed. And that moment, the emotional shift, is where most conversations break down. So today, we're going to learn how to navigate that exact moment with emotional intelligence, grounded confidence, and actual connection. I want to validate you for a second before we go any further, because some examples of what people told me are like this. For example, Jessica, every time I talk to my partner, it feels like we're having two different conversations. We're not on the same page. All right. Here's another one I've heard. Every time I talk to my sister-in-law, it turns into a debate and I cannot stand it. I can't even be in the room because of that. Or I dread the holidays with my family because someone always presses my buttons and I keep trying to keep the peace. It's exhausting. I don't even know how to talk to certain people anymore. And they're my family. And friends, I hear you. And this is not because you're weak or dramatic or crazy. This is because we were never taught how to emotionally have these intelligent conversations when tension rises. I mean, I wasn't. It's nothing that I remember in grade school being taught. So we don't have that. Instead, what do we do when we do that? Instead, we argue, right? We argue back. We shut down. We avoid. We over-explain, or the famous one, we people please, Or we just pretend to not care, right? We're just pretending that it just rolls off our back. And all of those strategies leave you feeling disconnected from the people that you actually care about. And it's not what you want to do, it's just what you know how to do. Because let's face it, many of us have been doing it at least for a year, right? I personally think my best out of those is shutting down. I think my natural one is shutting down. There's like a switch in my back and I will shut down like a robot if I go back to my default settings. So this is why we're going to learn a new way to communicate today, and that is what preserves your peace and the relationship, especially during this holiday season. Now, before we go any further, I want to be clear. It's not about who's right or wrong or any of that. It's not about that. This episode is about how to talk to people, even when the topic is uncomfortable or emotional. And when I talk about this with you, I'm pulling wisdom from top psychologists, family counselors, and conflict resolution experts. So you're getting real science backed tools that actually work in real conversations. All right. So let's start with the biggest mistake most people make in tense conversations. Are you ready? Trying to win. It's so obvious when I say that, but I bet so many people are nodding their heads like, yep, yep, I've been guilty of that, or I've seen that happen to me. So when your nervous system feels threatened, like when somebody tells you you're wrong or whatever they do, when your nervous system feels threatened, your brain is wired to naturally protect you. And that means you start trying to prove or justify or correct. But here's the truth. In human relationships, the goal is not to win. The goal is to understand. And arguments drag on and on and on because both people are trying to be right rather than trying to be understood. So here's your first empowerment shift. I want you to swap proving for understanding. And I want you to swap debating for curiosity. All right. Which brings us to the next part. If you've ever felt someone shutting down or getting defensive or refusing to budge around you, I want you to try out this one sentence. Are you ready for it? It's a good one. I want you to use this. Help me understand what this means for you. That sentence does three things. It signals safety, it prevents defensiveness, and it opens the door to real conversation, not a reactive one. You see, people soften when they feel seen. And you want people that you're talking to feel soft around you, not defensive, not ready to attack you. And you will get a lot further with a person when they are like that, when they're soft and, malleable and their brain wants to hear what you have to say, right? There are so many sayings that come to mind with this one, but one is you get more flies with honey, right? So be mindful of how the other person's body language is and how their tone is towards you. And when their body language starts to shift and you notice they're becoming a little bit defensive and they're building that wall, I want you to say, help me understand what this means for you. All right. So keep that in your back pocket and let's move on. So science says that you can't change somebody's mind by arguing. And it sounds obvious, but we all forget that part. And a prime example is the internet. You've seen people fighting on the internet. So that's a prime example. But here is what actually works. Connection first, and then logic second. See, when someone feels emotionally connected to you, their brain becomes receptive. And when they feel attacked or judged, their brain shuts like a vault. It's like a slam book shut, or in the 1990s when you slammed a phone down. Remember that? I know I'm dating myself, but we used to slam the phone when we were so mad. It was a total vibe. So, okay, instead of proving your point, I want you to try these sentences. All right, here we go. Can you share how this lands for me? That's the first one, right? For creating connection first and then logic second. Or here's another one. Here's what I'm feeling, not what I'm accusing. Ooh, that's a good one. Let me repeat that. Here's what I'm feeling, not what I'm accusing. This is the difference between you're wrong and I want to share my experience with you. And I promise, great conversations happen in shared experience, not forced argument. All right. Now let's go over another powerful tool. This is the psychological secret to shift any tense conversation. It's a powerful tool from emotional intelligence research. We want to name the tension, like really name it. Put it out there like the mashed potatoes you're passing on the table. Name the tension, not aggressively. Okay. Don't go aggressive on this, not dramatically, just honestly. Honestly, name the tension. And this is what I mean by this. You can say something like, hey, I feel the tension happening between us, and I want us to stay connected while we talk about this. All right. Or you can say something like, it feels like this conversation is getting a little bit tight, and I don't want us to drift. I want us to stay on the same team while we're talking through this. All right. And here's another one you can say. I'm noticing that there's some tension between us, and I really want to keep our connection strong. Can we please take a breath and come back to the heart of what we're both trying to say? All right, you get my drift on those? These instantly bring the conversation back to safety. So it shows leadership, it regulates the nervous system of both yours and theirs. And this is you being the grounded one in the room. All right. Now, I want to give you a couple more scenarios because I know there's going to be so many of us going through these difficult situations. So here we go. If someone gets loud on you, they want to start talking over you, or they are very passionate about a certain topic and you're just not feeling that and you don't want to match that energy, you can say, hey, I want to hear you. Can you slow down for a second? Or you could say, hey, I want to understand you. Can we bring the volume down so I can actually hear you and you can hear me and we can hear each other? I mean, I'm listening. Let's slow down so neither of us gets too overwhelmed, right? That's great when somebody is getting loud on you. On the flip side, when someone starts to shut down, right? I was a shutdowner. So if someone shuts down, you can say, "Hey, take your time. I'm here. I want to understand." Or you can say, "Hey, it's okay. I know this feels like a lot. I'm not going anywhere. I just want to understand. So when you're ready, I'm here for you. I can see you're pulling back a little and, we can move at your own pace." That's great when somebody's shutting down. Now, when someone gets defensive on you, which is a common one. You can say this, hey, listen, I'm not attacking you. I'm just trying to understand what this means for you. Or, hey, look, I'm not coming at you. I'm just trying to get what this means. I'm not arguing with you. I just want to understand your side better. I promise I'm not attacking you. And this is why it matters. Your relationship depends on these skills. The right conversation at the right time with the right tools can change everything. This isn't about agreeing to disagree, right? It's not about that. It's about staying connected to the people who matter, even when you don't see the world the same way. And no two people see the world the same way, right? Especially during the holiday season, we see the tensions rise, we see beliefs collide, and emotions run high. And having these tools in your back pocket are going to save you stress. They're going to save you anxiety, and they're going to save you sleepless nights and probably some arguments too, right? I mean, I want you to feel understood. Everybody wants to feel understood. And I want you to feel safe inside your own relationships. And I want you to communicate from power and not panic because you deserve that. And the people in your life deserve to know the real you, the empowered you. All right, let's go a little bit deeper. I want to take a little bit deeper walk and walk you through some other examples because there's one thing to hear the tools, right? And it's another thing to actually picture how to use them in the moment. And I'm trying to provide you as many examples as I can in just a short amount of time that we have together. So let's talk about the holiday season in particular. You're at the dinner table. Someone brings up your parenting or politics or your new girlfriend, whatever. They can ask like, so when are you going to have kids? Or, hey, why are you still single? Or, hey, you don't need that anymore? Okay, you did when you were 5 years old. And suddenly your nervous system is like, and we're spiraling. Here's what happens next. One person gets louder. One shuts down. The other one gets sarcastic. Someone excuses themselves to check the rolls in the oven even though they're not cooking. The kids scatter because they feel the energy. Everyone feels weird, right? And the whole event's thrown off. But here's a shift. You get to be the regulated one in the room now. So here's an example of what you can say when someone is trying to give you a triggering comment your way. You can say, hey, I know this topic means a lot to you, like my personal business, right? You can say, hey, I know this topic means a lot to you, and I care about us more than I care about winning this conversation. Can we just slow down a bit on this topic? All right. It shows them a boundary and it's a really polite response instead of, hey, it's none of your business, right? Or here's another one. It's great with big families. I want all of us to stay connected today. Let's keep the energy kind while we talk about this, right? Who can say no to that, right? You're not shutting down the conversation. You're just setting the tone for how it's going to go. And trust me, when you do this, people feel it and they match your energy. And that is emotional leadership. All right, now here's an important one, parent and teens, okay? This one is for you. Let's imagine your teenager comes home from school, drops their backpack, and slams their bedroom door. The old pattern of you, and definitely me, would probably say, excuse me, you do not slam doors in this house, right? Now we're yelling, they're crying, nothing is solved. Here's the regulated pattern instead. You knock softly. You don't match the knocking with their slamming, okay? You knock softly and you can say, "Hey, I see that you're overwhelmed. I'm here when you're ready. I'm not upset. I just want to understand what's happening right now." All right? What does this do when you do that? One, it removes the power struggle, right? It shows them you're a safe place and it gets way more information than the other way. And it models emotional intelligence, right? Or you can go this route as well. Hey, I'm noticing a big feeling here. Take your time. I'm on your team. All right. Kids open up when they feel safe, not when they feel cornered. And this works for toddlers, teens, and honestly, it works for grown adults too. Okay, now I want to talk about another situation, which is one that kind of gets overlooked sometimes because we're focusing so much on family, but also we have a workplace, right? Many of us have a workplace and we're working around people. So let's talk about the workplace because some of y'all have a coworker who treats every meeting like the Hunger Games, right? Here's an example. You suggest an idea in a meeting and someone cuts you off or dismisses it. And instead of getting flustered or defensive or matching that energy, I want you to try this. I want to make sure I'm understanding your feedback correctly. Can you walk me through what concerns you about my idea? It puts the responsibility back on them to clarify, not you to defend. Or if the energy is just chaotic in the workplace, you can say, hey, it feels like this conversation is getting a little tense. Can we reset for a second so we can actually hear one another? So you're not being confrontational, you're being a leader with incredible emotional intelligence, and that is memorable. People respect the grounded person in the room. They don't respect the spicy, the hot coworker who's always giving attitude and letting everything go. You want to be the grounded one in this situation. And I'll give you one more pattern because this is something that I've been through. I want to talk about family patterns because there's a lot of tension that comes from history and not the present moment necessarily. So, for example, your mom always jumps in with unsolicited advice, or your brother always wants to debate like politics or religion, or your dad shuts down the moment the conversation gets too emotional, or your aunt just loves to make passive aggressive comments about your life choices. Those are today problems. Those are pattern problems. So here's how you can break it and have the best holiday you can. Name the pattern gently, right? So you can say, every time we get on this topic, we end up arguing. I don't want that for us today. Step two, state your intention. I want us to stay so close, even if we see things differently. I just want us to stay really close. Step three, set the tone. Let's talk about this in a way that we're both feeling safe to share. Lets you shift lifetimes of communication habits. It's way better to go that route than to match their energy. So let's briefly go into triggers because knowing your triggers helps you navigate conversations with power instead of panic. So common triggers can include your tone, eye rolls if you catch yourself eye rolling, feeling excluded, being interrupted, being misunderstood, feeling disrespected or feeling controlled, bringing up past mistakes, not feeling appreciated. These are triggers, so you can notice it. For example, like if your chest gets tight, you can take a breath and you can name it. So like, I'm noticing I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm going to need to slow down a little bit. Okay. So this shifts the entire conversation back to safety for you. If you are still with somebody and they are just determined to argue with you, let's talk about those people. The ones that want to argue, want to be right, want to push, want to win, want to poke at every button you've ever had. Here's the rule. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. All right? You don't have to. Try one of these. Number one, I hear your perspective. I'm not in the space to keep debating. Let's pause on it, okay? Or I care way too much to fight about it. Or I'm going to step away so we can revisit this when we're both a little bit calmer, right? You're not abandoning the conversation. You're protecting the relationship, and that is emotional maturity, right? Okay. So my goal is to help you have healthy conversations and what they actually look like. Let's just paint a picture. They feel safe, right? Conversations feel safe. You express yourself without fear. You listen without feeling attacked, and you both stay regulated. You recover from the conflict faster, and small disagreements don't wreck the whole day, and you can still eat your pumpkin pie at the end of the day, right? So if you walk away with anything today, I want it to be this. You cannot control how others speak at you. All right. You can't control what they say. You can't control their opinions. You can't control their body language. You can't control anything about what other people do. But what you can control is the energy that you bring to the table. All right. You choose to get to be the calm one in the room. You choose to be the grounded presence around the Christmas tree. And you can choose to be the emotional leader or the one that steers the conversation back to connection when everybody's tensions are going up and everybody's frazzled, all right? That leadership, that grounded presence, all that is empowerment. And that is nervous system regulation. And that is relationship leadership. And that is the heart of She Will Empower. Listen, I know that the holidays can be hard. They can be magical too, right? They can be the flip side of things. It's so many people getting together. A lot of them, we don't see each other for a long time and they're out living their own lives. And so are we. And so when we come together, our goal is to come together to create such a magical place of love and safety. And I want you to be able to do that too. All right. So thank you for being with me today, beautiful friends. Thank you for choosing growth over avoidance. Thank you for choosing connection over conflict. And my friend, if this episode supported you today, if it gave you a new perspective, a moment of relief, or even just one tool you can tuck into your back pocket for the next tough conversation, please share it. Share it with a friend who's navigating something heavy, or share it with your coworker who's been carrying more than they say out loud. Or share it with your team or your workspace if you know that the feeling of the weight of the world right now is on them. Because here's the thing, we never know who needs to hear this message until we pass it forward. And that, my friends, is how empowerment spreads. And before you head out, I want you to remember this. You are not alone in any of this journey of life. If you need support, if you need tools, if you need guidance on navigating hard conversations or reclaiming your peace, I'm here. This is what I do and this is what I love. My name is Jessica Cherry and this is She Will Empower. It's your space for truth, for tools, and for transformation. And you can catch new episodes of the podcast every single Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time on Wimberley Valley Radio, KWVH 94.3. And of course, you can listen anytime, anywhere on your favorite podcast platform. Just search She Will Empower and I will pop right up for you. And if you're an early riser, you can also hang out with me on Tuesday mornings on the Wake Up Club on Wimberley Valley Radio from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's cozy, it's fun, we play great music, and it's the best way to start your day with good vibes and good conversations. And if you're in Central Texas and you feel like your nervous system is just hot-wired, or you're running on fumes, or you just need an hour for yourself to breathe again without the stressors of life, come see me in person at Lone Star Sound Baths. You can type in Lone Star Sound Baths in social media and I will pop it right up for you. So I guide immersive sound bath experience designed to help you settle, soften, and reset your mind, your body, and your spirit. It's one of the most healing things I offer, and I love doing this for the community. And you can also connect with me through Ladies Lifestyle Network Hayes County, where I host monthly empowerment and networking events every single month. They're so much fun. It's such a great community. Every month, we highlight powerhouse speakers, local nonprofits, incredible vendors, and stunning hill country venues. These events are where women come together and grow, they connect, they want to be seen, and they want to rise together. And let me tell you, I have seen so many friendships and also really impactful business relationships come straight out of these events. I love it. I love seeing it. So if you're craving community, this is your place. And if you want to follow my personal journey with motherhood, entrepreneurship, healing, all the behind the scenes of family life, you can find me at Life of a Cherry Wife on social media. Just search Life of a Cherry Wife and you'll see me. Truly, thank you so much for tuning in, for being here, for doing the work, and for choosing to grow even when it's uncomfortable. Before you go today, there's one more thing I want you to do for yourself. Even if it's something tiny, I mean tiny, tiny, I want you to do something today that your future self will look back on and say, thank you for doing that. Thank you. That move changed everything. Remember, tiny moves create big impact. And as always, stay powerful, stay grounded, stay connected, and have the most peaceful, joy-filled holiday season. I'll see you next time. Bye.